And we're live. So whenever you're ready.
So, how was your 420, buddy?
You know how it was, dude. Got a pack of zigzags, fat sack of sticky so dark it's almost purple. Just sat there all day eating Cheetos and burning them down.
Damn, sounds like a good celebration, bro.
Wait, man, didn't we already do a stoner intro?
No, no way, man. I definitely remember if we already did it on like this. You just logged into the Three Smoke Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD,
And I'm Peterson.
and we're just
Happy
shaking it off 420.
Post 420.
Yeah. Oh, you guys did something fun.
That's a big celebrator of 420. I went to a soccer game and then did some yard work for my mother-in-law.
Just stoned out of his fucking gourd the whole time.
Just like, are you guys seeing this game? And they're like, yeah.
Peterson has a 16-year-old son now, so now he doesn't always have to drive, and sometimes he just
you're driving
up.
today. He's like, why? I got stuff, and I'm like,
the keys
trust me, bro,
him.
you're driving today.
You don't want me driving.
You don't want me driving anywhere. Okay, real quick though,
dad.
My son's soccer game. I have to tell you this story because he's playing and he's dribbling the ball up, sort of jukes the goalie. He is 6 feet away from the wide open goal. No one near him. Rips the shot and just completely misses the goal. So one of the parents sets up a big old camera, like a smart AI camera that follows the play in the ball. And then he sends us the link. So I went and found the link and showed my son. And I was like, hey, Colin, watch this play. And he's like, don't, Dad, don't.
Just whiffs it. Yeah, he'll remember that one.
Pretty great. I was laughing pretty hard. The other parents were kind of mad, but I was laughing.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right, our news this week is brought to us by the geniuses at the American company named Crave Cookies.
Salute.
We salute you, Crave Cookies, on this most patriotic day of cookiedom.
We're going to open one in Canada, and we're going to be like, well, you ruined that bit, so...
Thanks a lot, Trent.
I'm not playing Oh Canada. Sorry,
like Trent wants
Canada.
Another batch of lawyers. You'd have to get an international lawyer. No way.
Yeah.
He's done. He's done with lawyers. Crave Cookies sponsors our here news segment, and as a reward to you, I guess, for listening to an ad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what it is. Crave gives us money to talk about their business, so there's a little, exchanging. But what do you guys get out of it? Other than sweet, delicious cookies, you get this. You get a heads up on the next cookie menu. Crave has a rotating cookie menu every week, and we tell you what comes out next week, next Friday.
Nobody knows this.
Just us and you. Now we're letting you in on this secret.
We're generous. That's how generous we are, honestly. But also Crave pays us. So, we're generous, but they are too.
To a point, we are generous. And then we just sell out.
So fast.
So fucking. So here's what we got coming up next week on the cookie menu. We got obviously our Crave chocolate chip, the Twix, this is the last week of the month to get the Twix, guys. This was our monthly craving, and it's going out. And I'm not even going to tell you what's coming out next month, but you're going to be pumped. And then we've got s'mores. S'mores is coming back. People talk about s'mores all the time.
That's a classic.
I was like my second week at Crave was learning how to make the s'mores cookie. Hopefully I'll be better at it now because I was not good at it before. It's such a pain, dude. You have to make it into a little cup and then fill little mini marshmallows in there. It's a legit ass cookie. The Rockstar. Wait a second. Yeah, the Rockstar. The Carmelita. Oh, that's going to stick to the pan.
Trent likes that. JD has a completely different take on all of this now. He used to be like, man, that sounds good. Now he's like, I have to
It's gonna
make
take me
that.
forever to make. That's gonna get stuck. Ooh, that's gonna be terrible to clean up after. Finally, the better than XX, the better than sex. Dude, this is great. The
It's actually a
s'more
pretty good lineup.
better than sex. Those were in my first couple of weeks of working there. And I love the better than sex cookie making it. It's really fun. So damn, that's a good week.
That's a good lineup. That's a good lineup.
A good fucking lineup. You guys get down to Crave Cookies and get your cookie on. A new survey has found that 70% of game developers are concerned about the sustainability of live service games.
Well, me too, buddy.
Why is that
Me
number
too.
not higher?
I don't. Who are these 30%? They
all
work.
for,
they work for Fortnite.
Yeah, they work for Roblox or Fortnite. They're like, dude, what are you talking about? This is great.
Actually, I make all my money that way. It's
fucking rolling
fantastic.
in. This is a survey from the Game Developer Collective that was polling 600 developers in between March and February of this year. So I don't know. I feel like 600 is a really good sample size, don't you? Like,
yeah, that is a good sample
for
size.
the industry is probably,
unless it was like 600 at Ubisoft, like then it wouldn't be. But
yeah, but no, this seems like, yeah. So of the survey found that 39% of participants had mild worries over current live service business models, and 31% were very concerned. So first of all, a third of game developers are very concerned about live service games is, to me, a flashing red fucking light. Like that. I mean, we talk about it on this podcast because as primarily consumers, it impacts our experience negatively. But these guys have concerns for other reasons. And I think if we're ignoring those, that's kind of interesting. But overall, so that's 70% of people that are like, I don't know if this is working. 31% or 30% were like, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, 31% said we're very concerned, right?
31% very concerned.
That's our new layoff target.
Mild.
New layoff target made for us. Doing half our work for us, baby.
Yeah, well,
31%
firing until that number's down. But this is another thing that I found interesting is that these same participants that they polled were 50-50 on whether or not they have a negative impact on the industry. So they're worried about their future. But even so there are people in that 50-50 split that are like, no, these are fine for the industry. But yeah, it's not it. I don't think that they're going to work. So I think that's kind of interesting is that even the people that are like fine with it still don't think it's going in a good direction.
Well, and I think here's why. I mean, there's some nuance for me, at least in this, because the industry will, we've talked about this a little bit. The industry will always be there and always be good. And whether that's indies carrying the torch or whether the AAAs come back and carry that torch. So is it going to damage the industry? Yes. But it will damage the AAAs. Indie games are not doing these live service things.
No.
Right? And so they're just going to pick up where the AAAs pick up the balls, AAAs dropping. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, yeah, I'm concerned about the industry, but the industry will survive. Right. The other piece of it is, so like, I get it. Like it's like a 30-30-30 split pretty much on how concerned people are about it, because when it's done right, like I don't have a problem with it when it's done right and done well. When it's a free-to-play game, when it's not the most insane battle passer model, when it's not pay to win, like I'm pretty good with it.
What percentage of games would you say fit that bill?
Oof. Like the actual like games or AAA games? Because AAA games, it seems like it's near 50%, not quite.
Oh, well, that's not. So you think 50% of AAA games that are live service are doing an okay job?
Then? Oh, are doing an okay job? No, no. It's 20% that are doing it well. The other ones are doing it very poorly, I think. But that's the thing. It's like the ones that do it well, you're like, you got it. But then there's always like some Ubisoft guy who comes out and he's like, we are going to try this new thing and it's going to suck and everyone's going to hate it and it's going to make our game fail. And that's where the problem lies. So that's why I think, yeah, guys are concerned. Guys are kind of concerned. Guys aren't concerned because it's like, Yeah, it just depends on where you sit in the market. Because sometimes it can Rocket League, for example, has had this since I've been playing it. And I've never complained about Rocket League's live service model. Right?
Yeah, and it's
Not bad.
interesting you say that because this is my favorite quote from the article that I pulled out directly because I thought it was so funny. A February survey. So after they talk about all this, how many concerns? 70% of them are like, "Man, this is kind of sketchy. I don't know where this is heading." A February survey from Griffin Gaming Partners revealed most developers were making live service games.
Oh
The
yeah.
majority of game developers out there are making these games. The majority of them, dude.
Well, yeah, so that's not
That's where when you're
surprising.
like, yeah, is it bad for the industry? That's where it's like, yeah, because we're putting all our eggs in this basket and all those developers that are going to get laid off. And as we've talked about 1,000 times on this podcast, you get laid off from a gaming industry, from a game studio, you're like 50-50 you ever go back to games.
Yeah. Like I think it's maybe even
You might
less
just
than that.
done.
Because
Like I'm making cookies now, dude. Like I'm like fucking I never want to go back to software. I'm out. So you get out and you're like, no, there's so many better things to be doing with my life.
your mental health immediately goes
Yes.
up. That's the one thing
I'm so
people are
fucking happy
realizing.
lately.
They feel better. Like even
Yeah.
though like they might not be in a better spot financially, right? But they know that they feel better. Their stresses maybe have changed, but you're not going into a stressful situation 40 hours a week, right? And so
40.
Well,
like 100.
Yeah.
She's even
And so
worse.
that's like the thing. Like that's why people don't go back. The people who do go back, that's because what they know. They're senior devs. They love it. They probably had a good experience up until the time they got canned. But yeah, so I don't know. I do worry about the industry, but like I said, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll survive. But if we say quote unquote the industry, meaning like all the workers involved, yes, that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Because most of those devs are working for big companies, right? That's why that huge percentage working on AAA or working on games as a service games, because they're working for the big companies. Indie companies have like 30 or less people, right? Hardly anyone's working there. And so that's not, when it comes to working in the industry, that's a problem. But when it comes to video games themselves, I think they'll be fine. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Ugh. A mission that was used to advertise Ubisoft's Star Wars Outlaws is out now and locked behind a season pass.
Okay.
Dude, so I literally read articles about this mission because back in like June of last year, they were like, hey, this is a really cool mission. You got to fuck with Jabba the Hutt and all this stuff. And then like a couple of days before the game comes out, they're like, well, yeah, if you pay extra. And let me break this down because
Is it a little bit extra?
Fucking no. I was boggled. My mind was boggled by this. The prices on these. So you get this game, Ubisoft Star Wars Outlaws, which I want to rewind for any of you big 3-bit lore followers who have been following the podcast for years and years. You may have remembered laments that we had on this podcast about why don't they just give the Star Wars license to anybody and everybody and just let them go nuts with it. This is why. This is why we were wrong. We were wrong. Mea culpa. We shouldn't have said that shit. No one should have it.
Still stand by it. No one should have it. Let's just drop it completely.
Indies only. If you are an indie studio development team of under 10, that's when you can have a Star Wars license. Otherwise, pound sand, because this game, Star Wars Outlaws, costs $70 right out the gate. This is
that's no surprise.
Like single player game that for whatever reason has to be online only, and for some other reason has a season pass. And for $40 on top of the $70, you get the gold edition of the game, which doesn't include everything. If you want everything, you have to slap another $20 on top of that. So you guys are following, it's $130 for this single player story game. And this isn't like a survival type game that you could put in 500 hours. This
isn't like an endless game. This is a story.
No. And you're looking at $130 to get the ultimate edition, or alternatively, what they're, I assume, pushing for just $18 a month, you can get Ubisoft Plus. You get all that shit and all the other shit. So they are just absolutely spiking their prices up so stupidly high that they're it's just brazen how much they're trying to be like, look at our genius human psychology. Look how smart we are. We put the big numbers next to the small number we want you to spend money on.
Yeah.
This is so fucking insane. So season pass is $40. A season pass for, I don't know. I can't even fucking fathom.
What would I want in a
crazy.
season pass?
Yeah, a season pass for a single player Star Wars games. This is so you can play the exclusive Jabba's Gambit mission at launch.
This mission better be 25 hours long and incredible. You know what I mean? Like, why would I pay an extra $40 or whatever for the $50 for this one to have access to this one mission?
Season pass.
I hate so much about this story and like how they're trying to justify it and all of that. Like, it's so this is the 31%, right? This is the real problem.
It's like Ubisoft realized that not only are they maybe not going to make so much money on this, but this may be the last time they have enough cachet and cash to actually get a Star Wars license. This may be one and done, their last chance. And they're like, guys, we have to milk this cow. It doesn't matter. Like, we can burn all the bridges with our Star Wars fans because it doesn't matter. We need to make money back on this. And I see this going the way of Suicide Squad, but maybe worse, because Suicide Squad was at least ostensibly a game that, like you said, was a game you could play a lot more versus this one, which is like, it's finite. It's very finite. I don't know. $130. It's like Ubisoft. Are you guys like paying attention to
Ubisoft?
Everything that's happening?
Paying attention.
Like the whole fucking world right now, and they're like, nah, we're just gonna robber baron this shit. No one will
we lost a bunch of money on Skull and Bones. That was
so we could lose a lot more money on Star Wars if we try hard enough.
All I have to say is this game genuinely has to be a banger. It has to be, I'm talking like Mass Effect level great.
Yes.
Otherwise it's just going to be.
And when was the last time Ubisoft made a game that good? Assassin's Creed 2 in like 2006 or 7.
I think so. The Division 1 was a great, fun game to play.
So you got to Endgame.
This needs to be better than that.
Yeah.
Because Division 1, while it was so much fun and it did get a lot of stir and a lot of buzz, it did not have a license behind it. This has a license behind it. This needs to be better than the Division 1, which I think might be their last original property that I think had much value to it. This has to be so great. JD, this has to be amazing. Or else, honestly, my prediction is it's not. Already based on the story.
Obviously,
because the story was not intriguing.
No.
It'll be Ubisoft gameplay. You know, I think the combat will be fun. But the story has to be incredible if you're going to take a Star Wars story. And let's see, this game will come out, and 3 months later, you'll be buying it for $40 less. Don't even buy this. Just wait.
Yeah, this will show up for $20 somewhere.
You'll buy it for
6 months.
$25 to $30 within 6 months.
Even the Star Wars fans have got to be out on this shit. It's so crazy.
I know a lot of people are excited about it. Like, I saw some stuff online where people were like, "Did you guys see that trailer? That was so sick." And I was like, I just didn't get it. Like, I genuinely went into it like with a positive attitude. I was like, "Oh, I'm excited to see what this is." And immediately was just not excited about anything I was seeing in the trailer. So I don't know, man. This is going to be rough, I think, for them. I want this game. I genuinely want this game to be amazing. If this game was amazing, I will be so happy and so thrilled. I just don't think it's going to be, you know. This isn't going to be the Hogwarts Legacy.
It would need to be that level or better. And dude, can you imagine what would be in? That's a great example, because I've been trying to think of like a comparative game. Hogwarts Legacy comes out with a season pass. What do you do? I mean, that game was fun. They had kind of end game stuff like the random Merlins trials and other cool things you could find.
You
And
just
like,
go around and start doing stuff you wanted to.
yeah, I guess they could have done something like that. But man, even that game didn't have like a $60 add-on, and it was a good game. This
No.
is so crazy cynical from Ubisoft. I just don't even know.
And well, that's the
I
other
hope
thing,
they
like,
lose so much fucking money on this.
same. And here's the thing. Like, I think they will because okay, look at Hogwarts Legacy was so fun. And honestly, like by the end, I was like, yeah, I'm done with this game. Like I'm good. I'm okay to be done. I beat the game. Like I'm okay with it. Ubisoft does not want that. They want you to stay and love this game forever. When that should not be what they're trying to do with the Star Wars model. They should be trying to make an amazing game like Hogwarts Legacy, make $1 billion, and then be like, yeah, well, maybe we'll make some DLC or something like that, or make a 2. But this should that doesn't feel like what they're trying to do with their season pass. They're going to give you skins, and they're going to give you like weapon skins, and they're going to give you companion skins, and like I don't care about any of that for this game.
Yeah, and the game developers making this shit are just like, what are we doing, guys?
Okay, you know the little alien dog you have? What if you could make it look like an alien cat with a hat on? You know, I don't want any of that.
No one's playing the game anymore, guys.
This
isn't the fucking Sims. PlayStation has permanently shut down the servers for Little Big Planet 3 instead of trying to fix them. This is a sad day for Little Big Planet fans because I was reading, and apparently back in like 2020, some disgruntled butthole fan sent a DDoS attack at it was like Little Big Planet Classic servers or something. It was like the original game, and they'd like refreshed it. And they shut those down in 2021. And now 3 years later, we're losing these servers. I don't think it was a DDoS thing. It was a technical issue. And they took them off. They took the servers down in January of this year. But now they're like, meh, we're not going to fix it. Too expensive. Which is crazy because without warning, people who have been making, all sorts of levels and other creations in this game just lost them. Anything stored on the cloud. If it's stored on your PS4, you're good locally, but anything that you were using servers for, I don't know. I think it would be crazy if I can think of any game, like for example, on Steam, that they were like, oh yeah, all your save data is gone. I would be, especially if it's a game I played regularly.
And I don't know this game, but it says, yeah, like there are hundreds of thousands of like player creations, so I think you're going in there and creating something, and those are just gone. Those are just going away.
It's kind of like Mario Maker is what it reminded me of, all those levels that are just lost. Yeah. And then people were trying to clear them all, and that was kind of a fun thing, and they made it. But this is just like, it just goes out with a whimper, just like, meh, there it goes. And PlayStation's like, we don't want to fix it. It sucks.
Probably what really happened is they shut it down for a technical thing. They're trying to fix it.
Nobody even complained.
Wait, nobody
Does anyone
said
care?
Anything. Like the guy who was fixing it went on vacation, and nobody cared. They didn't see any emails, any complaints, and they were just like, "Guys, crazy idea. Do we even need to turn this back on?" And they're like, "I don't even know where that guy is. The guy who was supposed to turn it back, he's gone. He doesn't work here anymore." And they're like, "I don't know. No one said anything. No one cares. So I guess shut it up." Which so that might be what happened, and probably not. But that would make me worry a little bit. They'd be like, well, let's try shutting off other stuff and see what happens. Some other servers from games that aren't gigantic. What if we shut those off for a technical error and nobody threw a big fit? Could we just get by shutting that down?
Yeah, I'm curious how much money they save from this. If it's actually like noticeable, or
I mean, it's noticeable to somebody.
I mean, are they ever going to do a Little Big Planet 4? Because if so, you kind of
maybe that's their hype. They're trying to hype it like, Little Big Planet fans, you didn't have a game, you couldn't play it for 10 years, and now we got Little Big Planet 4. Here we go. Maybe it's just part of the marketing strategy. Yeah, this sounds like something video game marketing would try to do. They're not.
I don't know. Maybe it's just dead.
I don't know. Well, rip Little Big Planet 3.
Sorry, guys. Sorry for anyone that used to play that game.
If you were planning on picking up Little Big Planet 3 in the next couple months,
For your PS4.
don't do it.
Look at us. Here we are with some hot goss.
I
Don't.
had it on my wish list.
Now I can clear that
I'm
off my
not-
wish list. Nice.
Go delete it if they didn't delete it for me. I'm sorry to inform you. Welcome to another company reset. I hope you've updated your resume. 'Cause you've just been laid off.
Okay, we got just one layoff, but it's kind of a shitty big one. Take-Two is laying off 5% of its workforce. Take-Two is going to take 5%.
Oh, wow.
5% of a workforce that was at the end of last fiscal year numbered at 11,580. So this counts for somewhere around 600 employees that will be laid off. The company thinks that they'll save around $35 million in employee-related costs and $140 million from canceled projects. So that's the big part of this, is the big chunk is that they're canceling a bunch of games and projects, and the teams working on those are being cut as a result.
The best way to make money is to not make a product.
Stop making products. That's what I always find. This is my favorite part, is in a recent interview with IGN, CEO Strauss Zelnick, we got to talk, Strauss
Zelnick, we got to talk.
He said there were, quote, no current plans for layoffs. Man, life comes at you fast, doesn't it, Strauss?
They're just liar. No one's telling him. No one's talking to Strauss. They're like, okay, maybe that's the strategy. You're like, okay, if we don't tell our CEO what we're doing, when he goes and makes a public statement, he's technically not lying.
Plausible deniability, just like the president in Independence Day who doesn't know about Area 51 because
nothing about nothing.
Yeah, so there goes 5%. I don't know what games. They don't say obviously what games they've cut or what projects they may have been working on that were lost.
They got a bunch of stuff in there, so who knows?
I bet this isn't the last one for Take-Two. This seems like just like a warm-up course. That's my bet. And I think we'll get a lot of Q4 layoffs, and especially out of Take-Two.
Didn't Take-Two pick up a lot of studios or have some decent-sized acquisitions in the last couple of years?
So, yeah. In the last couple of years, yes.
Yeah, so that's why I think they're following. They did the same pitfall of like, business is a booming, and so they just bought everybody and then realized games take a long time and they're expensive to make. So, yeah, as he says, they're saving over $100 million by canceling stuff, which again is an insane business strategy. Don't make stuff and you save money, and you also don't make money.
You gotta save money to save money.
You gotta lose money.
Didn't you ever hear Benjamin Franklin? A penny saved is a penny earned. Riblets. All right, Riblets, these little meat chunks of news wrapped around a bone, but not that much meat. These are news stories without that much meat on the bone.
It's not going to fill you up for sure.
You guys love this metaphor because we are just kicking it to death, not unlike the pigs and cows that are turned into riblets later.
Chickens, I think I said chicken.
Anything with ribs, it might show up on your riblets platter at Applebee's. You never know. It's fucking riblet roulette.
Fish rib? Is that a thing? It's like a piece of fish.
First up here, Fallout 3's reveal apparently led to death threats. And Bethesda's very first security guard. This is funny. This would be a Gamer Rage Blursty had it happened in this year and not in like 2005. But this was coming from a former character artist, Jonah Loeb, who was talking in a video on YouTube about designing the creatures in Fallout 3 and 4. You know, the Mirelurks, the Death Claws, all that shit. Because Fallout's so big right now. Everyone's talking about everything Fallout. Everyone wants to do Fallout stuff. So he said, quote, when it was announced that Bethesda was going to take on the Fallout franchise, there was a lot of excitement, a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot of death threats.
Smart.
Hand in glove in any video game community that any amount of excitement is going to eventually lead to death threats.
You post something, you get people who are stoked,
Mm-hmm.
horny people who are pissed,
Mm-hmm.
and then just death threats. Like we don't even know where those people's brains are
Little
at.
cherry on top with a couple extra sprinkles. He said, quote, Fallout, I am sorry to say, had more than its average share of less than pleasant fans. To this small but very vocal community, our attempt to resurrect the franchise was nothing less than a sacrilege. For the first time ever, Bethesda had to hire a security guard. No, if you guys weren't aware, Fallout was originally developed by Black Isle Studios, something like that. Fallout 1 and then Fallout 2 were both developed by the same team. And then the license, I think, when the studio that originally made it folded, the license was purchased by, well, apparently Bethesda. But they were like, hey, we're not going to make this kind of isometric top-down strategy game. We're going to take this license. We're going to go across the other side of the country on the East Coast, and we're going to make this a first-person shooter. And I guess if you told me that you were going to do something like that with Age of Empires, which is kind of what this is like, we're not going to do Age of Empires. We're going to make it more like a multiplayer battle game. I would be like, what the fuck? That's
Would
weird.
you threaten to kill somebody?
I can't say because I haven't been placed in that position, but you just never know until you're in that moment. Will you send a death threat to a game studio?
I'm going to do it. This was the thing. I'm going to do it. I'm going to kill somebody.
Straw that broke the camel's back, dude.
Honestly, never wanted to kill anybody in my life. This is it. I'm going to do it today.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, are these like, are you, what's the intent here? You just want someone to feel scared? Because if you, I mean, I have more respect if you're like actually planning the murder and you're like, yeah, no, I'm just giving you a heads up because I want you to be a little afraid when I actually come do it. But if you're just doing it, just a threat, what is your goal?
I'm going to murder
they're gonna
one
be like,
person.
no, sorry, we won't make Fallout 3
every day until you cancel the project.
Yeah, exactly. Like, go carry
Like,
out your
what?
terrorism. Do it right. But
Dude,
at a certain point,
don't put that out there because this could legitimately happen. They'll be like, they're gonna pass off Final Fantasy to someone else, and they're gonna be like, I am going to murder someone unless you cancel this, and then it's gonna happen. This is gonna be a Netflix.
Game developers have shown us one thing: it's that they can shoulder additional burdens. So death threats,
they're like, I guess it's gonna happen. Then.
This is part of being a game developer. You can't feed your family. You can't feed yourself. You can't even guarantee you'll have a job next week, even if you're working on a very popular game and making a lot of money and doing a great job and hitting all your goals. And now you can't go to work without the threat of a car bomb just exploding your little Kia Metro or whatever.
Also, don't post about the game you're making online because someone will try to kill you.
Don't make female models of any character in any game ever or again.
No, it's fine. Make a female model, but they
better
have to have
the biggest
big
dumpster butt,
big boobs,
shelf tits, blonde hair, blue eyes.
If we're not seeing 70 to 80% of skin, then like, yeah, we're coming for you.
Yeah, we're gonna cut your heads off like the cartel video.
This video you.
People are freaking out about updates to the avatars in Pokemon Go. I kind of want to nominate this for a gamer rage blursty because people are so mad. Though, having looked at the avatar updates, I'm like, I can kind of see where they're coming from. So I'm like, it's still gamer rage. Yes, people are big mad, but it is. So what they've done is see if you guys ever played Pokemon Go, you have like an avatar. You're the Pokemon trainer avatar character, and I think you're basically like, I'm a boy or I'm a girl. And then I assume after I stopped playing it many moons ago, they added a lot of crap and you could like customize your character, maybe put a different hat on them. So they've updated all the avatars, and apparently they've turned them into all like amorphous blobs. and they've removed the ability to change your gender. So I think everyone is the same gender, which
just no gender.
I think that's what we're going for. When they say gender equality, there's like no distinction, and everyone just wears sweats. Guys, we all just wear sweats now. I think they overshot.
We all look like members of BTS. You're just like, could be a boy, could be a girl, doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Important. Although
wear sweats and you can see our belly buttons.
I am looking at the picture from this announcement, and there's a girl on a phone, and then like I think the change is the one is facing us. You see the picture I'm talking about, and the front of her pants look like a butt.
Yeah, everyone's got a drop crotch. Like everyone's got a little chub.
And I don't understand it. It's like kind of awkward to look at.
In the announcement, they're like, yeah, you can change your body weight. Well, the body weight change essentially is like when you grab the corner of a rectangle in paint and drag it. That's how your body weight changes, because all the proportions stay the same. You're just like larger or smaller on the screen. You're just like a big square person or a small rectangle.
Yeah, they're all rectangular shaped.
So yes, while I think we're gonna put this in Gamer Rage, or at least can discuss it, this is pretty gnarly. I don't know why they did this. It's almost like they're going for that like Allegri art. Like the little characters on Facebook in the little messages with the huge exaggerated like arms and legs and tiny heads, and they look so stupid. That's like the goal, because you're like, well, that's not offensive. It's all just so cartoonish. I guess I don't know what we're doing here anymore.
This is bizarre, to be honest, because it's not like it was offensive before or anything like that.
No one was complaining that the titties weren't big enough.
They're just making it weird, to be honest. They're just making it weird.
I don't know why. They just felt like they had to do something. And final story up here on Riblets is LeBron James's tattoo artist lost at trial against Take-Two because he thought that he should make some money for the likeness of LeBron James's tattoos that were displayed in NBA 2K video games. This is a stretch.
Oh, very stretchy.
And I don't know why the fuck you would waste your money on an attorney to do this, but I was also surprised that this keeps seeming to happen. This happens with other games. Apparently, Randy Orton, the WWE wrestler, had a tattoo artist that sued successfully Take-Two for like $3,000. I mean, and this guy in particular is tattooed just a laundry list of professional athletes and celebrities. So what the fuck he was thinking here is beyond me. And even the payouts that people have gotten historically have been so low, this hardly seems worth it.
Plus, Take-Two is a very litigious company. If you remember,
they got lawyers. They got the lawyers.
Yeah, you're not surprising them.
And the two tattoos, this was funny to me, and I maybe misread this, but I'm pretty sure this was only over 2 tattoos. One of them, LeBron James's mother's Gloria's name next to a lion with a crown, and one of 5 stars on James's shoulders. I'm sorry, you wanted credit for the 5 stars you doodled on LeBron James's shoulder? I might have to pay you money too for my elementary school notebooks, in which I jotted many stars.
Yeah, stars are like one of the most popular tattoos. Pretty generic. So that's
those
funny.
Are his. Jimmy Hayden is the only man that tattoos stars. Pay up. Cross my palm with silver. Give me money.
These ones are always interesting to me because, of course, so tattoo artists, right? They're artists. Like, they're very good at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole nature of your work is that you are not creating a piece of art for you.
Yeah.
You're creating it specifically for another person. So if anything, LeBron James should be the one to talk about this, not the tattoo artist who essentially sold his work to somebody else. That's what it is, right? You can't be like, yeah, no, that's LeBron James, but that tattoo on his shoulder, that's me. That's mine.
I paid
it's
you
not
for the
his.
ink that you layered underneath my dermis.
Yeah.
That's my ink now. It's in my fucking body. It's mine.
You were a contractor for me. You did
Yeah.
like that's essentially what it is. So it's always super interesting because this has happened a few times when tattoo artists like tried to sue somebody for using something in media. And you're like,
dumb.
do you own that? I don't think you do. Like that doesn't seem like you own that.
They just
So
keep trying it. And I'm like, aren't you busy? I know my tattoo guy books like 6 months out. Are you fucking lazy or something? You got all this extra time to go to court? Go do tattoos, bitch. That's your fucking job.
instead, you should post that and be like, NBA 2K, check this out. My artwork is in there. You guys should come get this. Like that's
That
what
would
you
take
should be.
you 1 minute. How many minutes do you think it cost him to hire a lawyer and go sit in a courtroom for days after days after weeks after weeks? Don't you have appointments, bitch? Aren't you busy? Get a job, Grouch.
Get a job. Yeah.
You're putting me in the position of defending 2K games. What are you doing?
I honestly don't
Asshole?
like you for that.
Yeah.
I'm very mad at you for putting me in this position. Look what you made me do.
I can't believe you made me do this to you.
Kudos.
Kudos is our positivity segment. When we get a little negative, we like to get a little unnegative. This week we have some foodos, some
Sodos.
sodos.
So I don't like sodos.
Sodos.
Kudo pop.
On sodos.
Some
What
kudo
did you
pop.
say? Kudo pop?
Like soda pop. I don't know. I'm just
Kudo pop.
spitballing.
All right. Do you want to go first with your kudo
Yeah.
pop?
So mine is just one. Look, this one's not for everyone, but it is for me. I found this one. It is Dr. Pepper Creamy Coconut. Of course, I'm doing the zero sugar version of it.
Mhm.
It's a limited release, so it's just going to come out, then it'll disappear probably at the end of summer. I got it whenever I see new soda, I got to pick it up. So like I also saw, I think it was Sprite Cherry Limeade, which I didn't really like that much, but my kids did. So I picked up both of these. I got them at Walmart. But this Dr. Pepper Creamy Coconut, I am into. I usually don't love the flavored sodas like you get at the soda shops with like there's Dr. Pepper with coconut syrup in it, not like all the stuff in it. I don't like they're too sweet. But when the soda companies do them on their own, it's like the right level of sweetness for me. So this is one I am into. If you like Dr. Pepper, if you like coconut, because it is very coconutty, get this Dr. Pepper Creamy Coconut, the zero sugar. I haven't had the regular one, but the zero sugar one hits.
I'm happy for you, and I'm gonna let you finish. But that soda is fucking bullshit, and I'm tired, sick, and fucking tired of Utah not getting its due for the very few things we do right, or we do that are at least notable. First off, we got fucked on the mayo chup thing. Fry sauce is ours. We made that. That's our thing. And then Heinz comes along and they call it Mayo Chup. That's like the worst, stupid, most unappealing name ever. And they sell that on stores and they don't give Utah any credit whatsoever. But okay, I move on. But this is a bridge too far because Utah, that's our thing. Coconut and fucking Dr. Pepper, coconut and Diet Coke. That was our thing. We have a whole fucking war. We fought a war over this. And these people just bulldoze over that history and they just claim this for their own. Nope. I'm not into it.
I know exactly how Taylor Swift feels right now. And I sympathize with her now. You just took the mic away from me and just went off. I'm so sorry.
Well, you should have been talking about this bullshit. You should have known better. This is
true though. Like soda companies should just be going to Utah soda shops and being like, "What flavors you got?"
Yeah, so they come out with like, "Oh, the Detroit style pizza," just like burst onto the scene. Detroit is like smaller than Salt Lake City at this point. What are we doing? Why are we trying to please the people of Detroit? What the fuck? They get their own pizza. Just throw us a bone here. Sick of it. What else do we need to do?
Like we don't have a lot of things out here in Utah, but we do have
it's
this.
Like Even
We
our
do
lakes are
have
just filled
this.
with fucking salt. You can't swim in them. They're poison.
They're terrible. They smell bad. Also, the mosquitoes. Like, you can't even go there.
Got nothing.
I live close to the lake, and I hate it.
All we got is the sugary shit, and we put sugar and other crap in our mayo. And give us our due, okay?
It's not dew. It's Dr. Pepper.
Speaking of due, that's my kudos. We worked on these segues before the episode.
Honestly, this is the only segment we planned out the whole time.
I stopped by 7-Eleven this weekend, and I discovered that there are 2 new dews out. I didn't know they were coming. I didn't see any announcements about these, but I was very happy. The first one is Baja Laguna Lemonade, and I'm like, are these both, because they're both like Baja? So are they both based on like the Baja Blast base?
No, like Baja is now a like subset of dew. It's like it's synonymous with summertime.
Okay, I can get behind that, because
they did this last summer too.
The Baja Laguna Lemonade and the Baja Point Break Punch. Yeah, dude, that's the other fucking thing. What did Baja California ever do for the soda industry, huh?
That's true. Why does Baja
and they get a fucking subset of Mountain Dew?
They just get all the flavors now. Like they just get we don't have all the flavors coming out of Baja California. I've been to Baja California. It's fine.
It's fine. Good.
You know what?
Surfing,
they do have great fish tacos too. That's what I will say. Did have
food is amazing, honest to God. Just and the people just salt of the earth.
Like they deserve some name. We just need come on, give us
just
one
not
thing.
This one. Give
just
us the fucking sodas. Baja Laguna Lemonade was a mango lemonade. It's actually better than the other one, which is Point Break Punch, which basically tastes like a fruit punch. But it's like you said, you were spot on with it's like a summery fruit punch, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like a standard.
No, it's not like
drink.
high C fruit punch. It had tropical flavors in it. There was definitely pineapple in there.
Yeah. So it was a little bit more tropical, but the Laguna lemonade, the mango lemonade, slaps. It was so good. That shit is really good.
I had them both. I liked them both, honestly.
Yeah.
And I kept going back and forth because I got a 12-pack of each of them.
Oh, nice.
I kept going back and forth, and I couldn't decide which one I liked more. I honestly liked them both. I haven't seen a zero sugar version.
I was just going to say, I don't think we'll get zeros of these unless one of them really catches on.
I do want it, but
I can't believe they still sell Spark, though. Get the fuck out of here with that. Like,
right?
Rotate that out. Rotate some good ones in. The fact that Spark and Major Melon are like,
why is Major Melon sticking around?
Who is buying those?
It's Major Melon is the most offensively sweet dew that they've made.
It is terrible
in the last 5 years. I can't drink it.
And Spark, the Baja Laguna lemonade proves that Spark is dog shit, because that's a better lemonade flavor. They've been selling Spark. They've been forcing that on us for like 3 years now, and no one wants it.
And I like Spark, but yeah, like lemonade's the easiest thing to like.
It does not need to be a permanent fixture.
No. Raspberry lemonade, strawberry lemonade, mango lemonade, peach lemonade. Just start throwing lemonade new ones out there.
I don't want Spark anymore. I'm sick of that. So yeah, Laguna Lemonade Point Break Punch, so good. Don't buy coconut Dr. Pepper though, because
that's what. No, do it. It's good. Okay, what would you call
bad
it?
For Utah, bad for business, bad for you.
The problem is Salt Lake City's too long. Utah sounds weird because it starts with a U.
You call it dirty. You call it a dirty soda. And that alone would be enough recognition. Just like they have that Coffee Mate. Would someone share that in our Discord or something? They have like a coffee creamer. It's like a Dr. Pepper dirty soda. And it was like Dr. Pepper and coconut. And it's Coffee Mate. They had it. They can do it. And they didn't do it.
You know what? I just thought of it. Dr. Pepper Provo. That's what they should call it.
I take it all back. This is fine.
We don't want this. We don't want this.
Dr. Pepper Provo. Please do not let that hellhole of a city represent us in any way, shape, or form. Just play Dear Game Devs.
Oh, now I gotta go find it. So we got a new segment. Hold on one sec. But it's not Game Devs. Here we go. Nope, that's Don't Game Devs.
Dear Game Devs, it's been nearly a fortnight since I last wrote. Mother is well, and much has changed back on the farm. But I have just one request of you.
So we're doing this Dear TV Studios. And they'll have to stop for just one moment, take a break from molesting children and child actors to listen to us.
Do they have to stop? That's like the
I
one...
would prefer if they did.
Yeah, no, like
Honestly.
absolutely, but like
Please stop.
it seems like that's the only thing that they're good at this point. Like that's the one thing they're consistent with.
Consistently excel at being
And
monsters.
just being the worst.
The worst
Yeah.
human beings to ever
They-
slither along this planet.
I don't know what it is. But like we never get good. If I am into an actor, I'm like most nervous I've
I
ever been
never
in my
want to
life.
see their name in a headline. Ever.
I know. In fact, I don't want them to ever act again.
No.
I prefer they disappeared from the
One
limelight.
and done. Every actor, one and done. I don't
Best
want to
thing
see you
for
in
your
more than
life.
one thing.
Honestly, best thing you could do for
Just
yourself.
move on. But we wanted to write to these monsters and ask them to make other games into
Two
TV
things.
series.
One, stop. And
Oh,
then
stop.
two,
Please.
make these
Knock it off.
games
Hey.
into TVs.
Knock it off. I catch my dogs licking themselves. It's the exact same attitude. Hey,
Not
you're
again.
disgusting
Not
everyone
again.
around you. Knock it off. So we want to see
Who
some
wants
games
that?
be made into TV series that are just as good as Fallout. Fallout has proven that it can be done. BioShock hopefully will come and prove that again it can be done well. Trying to dispel the notions that were laid down on us by Halo, which honestly felt like a fucking coffin nail to me. I was like, this is going to be one more of these and they're going to stop doing it.
They had one chance to like revive the Halo series, I really think.
Mm.
Because what you've seen, I was going to mention this earlier with the Fallout story, but Fallout 3, I think, or Fallout 4, it was the top selling game in Europe last week or
saw
something
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like Halo had a chance to revive the series, and
It's good for the
failed.
brand if you do this well, but the TV writers they hired to do Halo didn't give a shit about Halo. Big problem.
Yep. So Fallout, I think so we've talked about video games to TV series years and years and years and years ago.
I don't even remember when.
We haven't not talked to, I think it was Spencer was still on the show. So it's been a long time and we haven't talked about it much since because we've been a little bit let down. And like movies have come in pretty hot. There was The Last of Us did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we're starting to see
TV
like
series are
they
different.
can do good.
You can tell longer stories, which honestly fit video games better for the most part.
Absolutely.
That's why I think you couldn't have done a Last of Us movie would have been
terrible. Are you
not
kidding
great.
me?
Because the story of the game, like you can't beat it in less than like 12 hours. So condensing that down really
Well, and doing something like that, like you have to get like the feeling and the emotion in behind it. Cause like for just using Last of Us, for example, Joel has like a really tragic backstory. And that plays into a lot of like who he is and how he acts and stuff like that and how he's responding to Ellie, right? And you can't capture that in a 2-hour movie. You just can't get it.
So what video games do you think, Peterson, would you like to see as TV series? Now, I assume we're talking live action here.
Yeah.
That's what
I didn't do any animated, which I'm not against animated, to be honest.
It just doesn't seem to count.
I think the games I thought of didn't need animated. Like there are Brandon Sanderson properties that I think should be animated if they ever make them.
Oh yeah, all animated.
Because it'd be really hard to make live action do it well with like magic systems. So the ones I chose though would be great as live action. So first, I'll save my best for a little bit down the road. Control. Control would be a great TV series, and I'm talking like 1 or 2 seasons, but they've just got they've got the bones, and I think that's what a lot of these I chose have like the bones for you to make your own creative stories within the story. Because Control,
there's only one game.
There's one game, but like you are in the ministry of what do they call it? Like bizarre
silly mysteries.
Yeah, mysteries, like crazy stuff that's happening. So there's a lot you can do there. Just like when I would talk about Fallout, like, hey, there's all these
I believe it's the Department of Control.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, that's what they're trying to do, though. That's like all the wackiness in the world. It's like the X-Files. And I think you could do a really good series with that because you could make it a little bit creepy, right? You could make it scary, a little creepy. You could add some action because there is like weapons involved and there's some like interesting weapons involved. So like you could do that. You could be in the Department of Control and like stuff could be getting out. There's almost like a little bit of a Stranger Things type of vibe where you could have stuff happen, stuff leaking out into the real world. Like there's a lot you could do there. And I think Control could do very well as a TV show, just using the bones of the game Control. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I like that. I didn't even think about that. And I don't think you even needed to use the same character from the game.
No.
Good.
You just need the
Interesting.
bones of it. That's what I'm saying. You just need the backbones.
Here's what I remember talking about. Now I'm curious why I couldn't find it in any of our docs, because it does feel like we talked about it recently and after Spencer. But Undermine is a roguelike game in which you start every new run down into the eponymous Undermine as a new character. And it's just a randomly generated character. You go down and see how far you can fight your way down through the mines and killing things, and if you can beat bosses. And you're doing this all for this evil, well, you find out later that he's evil, wizard who keeps sending these peasants from the town down to die in the mine to help whatever. And there's like earthquakes and things that are happening that you're trying to prevent, on the surface. But in reality, it's just this evil wizard that's trying to get you to do things for him. I think this would work as an episodic TV show. You make it an action comedy, and you bring in a new guest star every week. And that's who the peasant is. I like the idea of having a stable cast of characters. You have the tavern that's on the top of the Undermine. And that's where every episode starts. And these are, very formulaic episodes. And the new peasant comes in the front door or whatever, and, laugh track. Oh, I can't believe it's this person. But then they go down to the Undermine. They have these crazy adventures. Things happen down there. And invariably, they die. And I think that would be a very funny show to watch.
So that's funny because I thought of it like different. And I think I'm in the mood because I've been watching like some, I think more serious, like so I'm watching like Invincible and Fallout, right? And so I'm watching these like they're serious but funny at the same time. So I was thinking when you said Undermine, I was like, okay. Like you're following a main character, but he's a peasant. He's one of these peasants, and they're getting thrown into the mine almost Gladiator style, and then there's drama behind it, like he's in the he's being prepared and stuff and trying to prepare for like going into the mines. Hunger Games, Gladiator style. We're talking like what is it, Running Man situation where they're like, hey, you're thrown into this and like you gotta try to survive, and it's like everyone's dying. But obviously our main character is going to be the one who, once he finally gets in there, be 3 episodes of him in the mine, fighting stuff off, figuring things out, beating the big bosses, and then he finally wins and finds out the wizard's the bad guy all along, that sort of thing. That was what I was thinking.
Okay. I could see that. What else you got?
Oh, of course. Then I was trying to think, okay, what games am I playing right now that would be good? Dude, Helldivers. Okay. Similar to what I just said, but like Helldivers is interesting because the game is you are this dude who is on a ship. I don't know if you're a hell diver for this big ship, and you jump down onto these planets and you just jump into chaos, start killing bugs, start killing robots. There's going to be a new alien faction coming out, start killing all these things. And it's like chaos. So half of the episodes would be just these like bloody war, chaos, killing bugs, type of things going on. But throughout the game, if you're paying attention, you are doing this for Super Earth, and you get a lot of Super Earth propaganda. So behind of it all is like this shady, like something else is happening. Like maybe Super Earth isn't as great as they're selling it to be, because you're
Yeah.
also one of your missions you're always doing is shutting down illegal broadcasts, and they're always like humans starting broadcasts against Super Earth, and they're like, you have a mission, they're like, shut that broadcast down, go in there and blow the whole thing up, right? And so your character starts to slowly learn that, like, oh, maybe Super Earth isn't as great, and you are, but in the meantime, you're just getting sent down on these just horrible missions. So it's similar to like Undermine. You're finding out that the good guy's not the good guy. You've been killing for the bad guy all along. You're technically the bad guy's got turned against it a little bit. Even though you're just sent into the bloody battles and you're just doing lots of killing. That's the other thing. The theme behind my brain on these is I want to see lots of fighting and killing. I think I've really enjoyed Invincible maybe too much. So that's what I want to see. I want to see like some crazy cool battle scenes. Fighting.
Yeah, I think that, and it seems like the story is kind of unfolding live as the game studio makes it.
Yes, as Joel, the game maker.
So this could go some cool directions, and then they could translate that to screen. I think that'd be fun because it would give the players some real ownership in that. They're like, yeah, that's kind of what we voted for and worked for and all this stuff. So
it is funny too because we fail missions sometimes, and that changes like what happens.
Yeah,
you're like failing straight up missions. So it's kind of funny.
I love that. One that I thought of that is a game I need to go back because I guess it's kind of in its 1.0 release, but I played this as when it very first came out into early access, is called Forever Skies. This was a survival game base builder where your base was actually a floating like a balloon, like a Zeppelin style base. And you were floating over this poisoned world, and you would essentially dock with the tops of skyscrapers and then take elevators down to explore the tainted and poisoned land below, which happened to be like an old busted out city, burned out city or whatever. I don't know much about the story, having just played it in early access. And it was pretty thin then. But I just think that the world itself was really interesting. And the idea, it's like a post-apocalyptic, any basic post-apocalyptic show. But the setup is so interesting to me. The idea that humans just kind of take to the skies, living above all the ruins. It's like
Waterworld in the sky.
Waterworld in the sky. Yeah. I just want more Waterworld, okay? I'm just trying to sneak in a Waterworld TV series. Am I asking too much?
You're not. I don't
think I am.
I think you're absolutely on point. I think you have $1 million idea. That's what.
And while we're at it, I also want to see a game of Wall World, not Waterworld. Wall World. I thought that game would be another fascinating way to. I just want to know. I would love to see what a TV show could do with that story, which was again pretty thin, just to justify the gameplay mechanics of a giant mech moving up and down what seems like an endless wall, fighting deadly creatures. What is that world? How do we get there? Because that sounds fucking awesome.
How do you become a wall worlder?
And if I'm being honest with myself, this is probably a terrible idea. Not unlike Mortal Engines, which was a really cool trailer for a film. And once you actually saw the film and you're like, oh, big mobile cities that eat smaller cities, that's like the most interesting part of it. And then it just kind of fades out and you're like, oh, it sucks.
I think that's
neither of those would probably be any good.
It's like the problem that I think a lot of these ideas can come into. Like, it sounds pretty cool, but then like you have to actually put a whole story in there with like characters and stuff like that, and that's where it can fall apart. Like with Mortal Engines, right?
Yeah. What else you got?
I'm gonna go with one of my favorites. This is the one I immediately thought of, and I think we're ready. We're ready for God of War, the series. You could do this. Do you remember the Blacklist, the TV show?
Yeah. I remember it being more and more disappointing each and every season.
Yes. So here's what I'll say. Blacklist season 1 had it right. Each episode, they were finding someone on the blacklist,
Monster of the week, just
yeah,
like
a
X-Files.
bad guy. Yeah,
That's the format.
You
And then
want
an
it to
underlying story.
yes, that's it right there. That's it. So when we're talking God of War, so the underlying story of God of War is actually pretty cool, right? He's this guy, this general, whatever, turned into the God of War. His family's killed. Now he's on a revenge mission, right? And that's where you start. Episode 1 is all that beginning stuff of him becoming Kratos, the God of War, his family getting murdered or whatever, like all of that. It's like his like motivation. That's episode 1. You end it with his like the reveal that his family's all murdered by God, and he's like, I'm on a revenge now. Now you are building up to him killing different gods each episode. Some of them minor gods, some of them, like Hercules type of characters, right? Who are like demigods. And then he's working up to the big bads, right? And not only it's not just the thing about God of War is it's like Kratos with his big axe. He's just gonna go in
who
and
is
start
playing
smashing
Kratos?
stuff.
You have to cast this before you pitch it.
Ooh,
you need to cast a Kratos. You can't just. There has to be a human that exists that plays Kratos first.
Do you have any ideas?
The guy that plays the Mountain in Game of Thrones, possibly. Like that's what we need. Someone so huge.
If you want to go really good, yeah, the amazing
gods.
Yeah, you need somebody. Ooh, man, I'm seeing some good recommendations on here. Yeah, he's one of them. That guy you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he would be a good one. So, but here's the thing: what I would want this to do differently, because in the games it's like just go get the god and just start smashing, right? Smash until you get them. Obviously, these gods are like not easy to kill, so he'd have to like it's like killing superheroes, right? You have to figure out a way to kill them, and that's part of it. Is like he's like, hey, I got
the boys.
Yes, it's like that, like but with gods. And he's starting with, and here's the thing: you could keep this episodic, or even like, man, kill a decent sized guy every 2 episodes, right? Because there's so many gods. Because God of War, the series, the game series, does not stick to one pantheon of gods. He moves around. He's now he killed Greek gods. Now he's killing Norse gods. Like he doesn't care.
He's in trouble if he tries the Hindu gods, though. I mean,
there's a lot of them.
He's fucked, I think.
If they gang up at all, he's in big trouble.
Yeah, no, they're real problematic.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I just think that could be so cool as a series, especially if you cast it right. And I'm not saying Henry Cavill, but you need a Henry Cavill level of guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like someone who can carry that role and being like, oh yeah, that is Kratos. Where like Henry Cavill, you're like, yeah, that's Geralt. He just killed it. That's Superman. Right, you need that. You need somebody who you're like, I can't see anyone else in that role to just absolutely crush it. That's my favorite one of all the ones I thought of. I really think a God of War TV series could be outstanding. It would be very expensive to make, but it could be outstanding.
But yeah, Fallout was expensive,
and you could
do it pretty cheap.
You could do it pretty well. Like there'd be a lot of like combat types of stuff and like crazy action sequences, but then think of like later God of War 2, like the last couple games where he's got the kid with him, and like it's like a whole separate thing. It's like
just film the whole thing up in like Park City on a ski resort, like in the back half of a ski resort. You'd be fine,
dude. They
totally through the snowy mountains, CGI some buildings in there,
CGI out some snowboarders. No, I really think that could be a bang up show. That's the next one that I'm going to push for until it's made, just like I did with Fallout. I made Fallout happen. So
I had one that probably wouldn't work as a TV show. It'd be a better movie. Was Carry On. That'd just be a good horror movie.
That would be a great movie.
Yeah, you could do a psychological thriller because you could have one of the scientists trying to escape the monster and then slowly unraveling, like, because they made that monster in that lab. And they're like, wow, did we make this? And why? And then the monster kills that scientist at the very end and then wears his body out of there. Like, I mean, it's perfect. It's a fucking perfect horror movie. It'd be really good. But TV show, this is one I'm surprised it hasn't come up, and it's almost too on the nose, honestly, considering the segment we talked about making it as good as Fallout. Well, what's the other big property that Bethesda has? Elder Scrolls. Make an Elder Scrolls TV series. I mean, you're even less limited than you are with Fallout, because you could set it during any of the eras of any of the games. You could set it during, Skyrim, or like the Oblivion Crisis. You could do anything, really. You could set it after Skyrim and before Elder Scrolls 6, because we know that's never going to come out. But the world there is so extraordinarily fleshed out, and the lore is so well established that you could do. I'm thinking you could just plop characters in there like that D&D movie.
That's immediately what I was thinking. I was like, oh, this would be more like that D&D, because there are no, like, just like Fallout, there's no characters really. There's like types of characters, but there's no like guy.
Exactly. Other than like in Skyrim, there was kind of a guy because you were like the Dragonborn, but even then, like, that's just to make the player character super badass, and all the interesting stories are happening with the other characters in the world. So yeah, I think you could do, if you had, and I think you would need TV writers who were absolutely obsessed with this, because I mean, if you sit down and you go play Skyrim and like read all the books that you find in that, like, there's hundreds, if not thousands, of pages of just like random books that are set within the world of Skyrim that you can just read.
So I will say I did think about that one a little bit, and I didn't put it on my list because I genuinely think Fallout is a better story builder world.
Yeah, agreed.
It's just such a great world. It's so unique. Elder Scrolls, the problem is it's not that unique of a world. And I think that's because it is
just a fantasy, generic fantasy world.
And that's where I think if they made it, it would have a lot of hype behind it, and then it would fail. And it would cost a lot. It wouldn't make as much money as they wanted to, and then they would cancel it. Because it is just a fantasy. So I think at this point we've seen a decent amount of fantasy. You need like a fantasy hook. You need a hook behind it, which is again why Fallout works so well. Fallout is just such a crazy world, and I love it. And so it has like a feel behind it. I'll just list my last couple just quickly. Half-Life. What are we doing? It'd be so great. It could be like half horror, half action, like half, like a revolutionary type of situation. Like this could
Half-Life could be as amazing as Fallout. Half-Life is the best answer to this question that either of us came up with.
That's what I'm like, what are we doing? Why is this not a thing?
A no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. So
oh my God. It's also so good.
Some of these I'm mentioning probably have a series announced. Like they started doing a whole bunch, and I haven't been tracking that. This is just what I want. And if it is announced, like if they announce God of War, or if it's already announced or something, it's because of me, because I said this. So just so you know. But Half-Life is, again, just a no-brainer. Beautiful world building that's already set up for you. Characters that are set up for you. Fantastic. I think it would just work so well. A wacky one that I think would be a lot of fun is going into some of the Yakuza games. They would have a very different feel, but I played Yakuza Like a Dragon, and that genuinely felt like a TV series. I started off as like I'm working my way up to be a Yakuza boss, and then I get kicked out, and they like try to murder me, and I end up in a in a dumpster, and now I'm trying to work my way back, and I'm living on the streets, like interacting with all these zany street characters. That could be interesting. And then the last one, of course, and this is probably a movie. I'm not sure, but we got to see something with Doom. And it would be the bloodiest property of all the things I've mentioned, but it would be demon blood, so it doesn't matter. So just Doom. Like, Doom would be easy. I don't know why we haven't even seen it. Like, have we had a Doom movie? Like, we had
a Rock.
He was in
that one, and it had that first person scene, and it had
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Oh, who's the guy that played it had who's the guy that played Dredd? Oh,
Carl Urban's in it.
Carl Urban was in it. Carl Urban and The
Rosamund
Rock.
Pike.
And
Oof.
I think he was billed as The Rock, not Dwayne Johnson.
Rotten Tomatoes has an 18%.
This was one of those movies that
So they have made a Doom. See,
this
like I
is when
said, I
was
didn't look.
saying that Halo was a coffin nail. This was a coffin nail for video game movies, and we didn't recover from this for years. Doom was really bad. So maybe we don't do a Doom TV series. It's
No,
cursed.
and I think
It's
anything,
jinxed.
if you do it, but yeah, you're probably right. That was my least one. My best are God of War and Half-Life. Those are my two favorites.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Also, Control. I do think Control would be.
No,
a lot of fun.
I'm big into Half-Life. I think that's the one. I think that's the correct answer to this. Okay,
Why haven't we done that? Is it? It's got.
because it's Valve.
That's why. That's
and
why.
everything goes so slow there. But maybe now that they've started cranking stuff out, maybe we'll get it. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay. I'll get it. Hold on. You made me move.
One day.
There we go.
Dice of Destiny.
All right, Dice of Destiny is this awesome game we play at the end of every episode. We roll a 6-sided dice to see who will be responsible for rolling the Dice of Destiny itself, a 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. That person then rolls another 6-sided dice to see what their budget is. They find a game in that genre, in that price range. They pick it, play it, review it. A couple weeks ago, I rolled a roguelike game, which Peterson, I'm telling you, I saw somebody on Reddit just call it Rogue. So we're just going to call them Rogue.
Hey, Rogue Games.
Rogue Games.
I'm in for that.
We're done saying like or light. We're just saying rogues. So I picked a rogue game called Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Deep Rock Galactic is another game. It is a what would you call that? What is that? It's a first-person cooperative survival game.
I wouldn't say survival. I don't know. It's like a mission-based.
So this one is a survivor game, just like Vampire Survivors.
Mm-hmm. Like a bullet hell.
Survival.
Right?
Yeah, it's like a bullet hell, kind of top down. You're a little dwarf running around a layer of a mine, and you're shooting, you're avoiding these bugs that are trying to kill you while you're trying to mine resources and stay alive long enough to kill the big bad on each level. And then eventually, so how it works is you've got 3 levels. You kill the mini boss on the end of each one. And then at the 4th level, you kill all 3 mini bosses again. This is like Kirby style. And then you kill after you kill those 3 mini bosses, you get the big boss. You kill him, and then you're done. You win. That's the game.
Have you won yet?
I just won today.
Hey,
the big boss is really fucking hard, but this game is not unlike Undermine in that it gives you a lot of big permanent upgrades, and the permanent upgrades make the game a lot more beatable.
Okay.
So I have been playing on the initial difficulty. There are like additional difficulties that add different quirks. It's not just like, oh, it's just harder. They add different like quirks, kind of like Balatro does.
Yeah.
And the idea is that, let's see. So you have this map. It's a limited map, so it's finite, unlike Vampire Survivors and some other Survivor games where they're huge, expansive map.
Forever.
And then some where they're a little smaller, like incredibly powerful capybaras. The map is very small. This one, it's pretty decent sized map. And you get a little mini map and it shows you what you've revealed, already. And it's a little bit slower paced than other survival games. There's no dash. There may be a character that has a dash, for example, but I played the Scout, which is supposed to be the fastest guy. And it was still pretty slow by these standards, which is good. I'm not saying that as a nit. That's just how it plays. You have different dwarves that have different
abilities. You got tiny little legs.
Yeah, you can't run that fast.
No.
And you're underwater or you're underground, so you're ducking all the time. There's different dwarves that have different abilities. I played the scout and the engineer. So the scout's just fast and runs around, shoots behind him. The engineer is awesome. They have these little turrets you deploy. And if you stand still, you deploy turrets, and then you can upgrade your turrets so they follow you around, and you can drop these like little laser fences. So you drop little fence posts. All of this is automatic, by the way. If you guys aren't familiar with Survivor games, you don't press any button.
They're
You
auto
just run around.
shooters,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, auto shooters. And so you go through these levels, and what is the big lead that I buried here? The biggest part that sets this game apart from all Survivor games is the mining. Your character can go straight through these walls and barriers that are set throughout the game, and then those, where you mine is a new pathway. And what that does is it allows you to guide the swarms and hordes of enemies and funnel them down these like kill points, and it completely changes the game. It has. I was telling Peterson this earlier, but it is, for me, it feels like the pinnacle of a survival game or a Survivor game, because there were elements of this in Vampire Survivors. As they introduced more and more maps, there were ways that you could try to funnel the bad guys down through different kill points, but ultimately you were the only focus that they had the whole time. But if you are mining, say you're mining a tunnel, and you have you've got a decent wall all around you, well, all the bad guys are going to go around that wall and try to funnel down the path that you're mining. That's the one way to get to you. So they are all going the exact same way. Well, once you break through the other side of the wall, like the second you break through, or actually when you have just a little bit of wall left, they switch. But now you have a ton of enemies that have followed you down that funnel, and they're still following you. And you have the other ones that are on the other side of the wall. Now they're switching their focus. So you've split them, and you've split two groups of enemies, which I haven't ever seen in a survival game. You have so much more. And like we were saying, you don't shoot the enemies. You don't aim at them. You don't really do this. There's one guy that shoots in front of himself, so you have to turn around to shoot. But other than that, like, you have very minimal control over how you're killing these enemies. And so to have the way you just move through the map actually controls where they go, and it feels like you're oh man, it is brilliant. It's just brilliant. That's the way I describe it. They took a survival, they took the Survivor type gameplay, and at this point I've played like 5 or 6 of them, and they all try to do certain things, but overall everyone has felt like a clone of Vampire Survivors, except this one. This one feels like they've done something seriously novel and something really cool, and I'm obsessed with it.
What I like about that is, we talked about this a little bit, but like, companies taking their existing property and saying, how could we fit this different type of game into this? Because this is Deep Rock Galactic is nothing like this.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, how can we make
and they
a
reuse
Survivor game?
I'm pretty sure they're using all the sound design, all the voice acting from Deep Rock Galactic, all like the announcements and things.
Yeah,
you save a lot of money. You save a lot of money on the art and all the art design and all that stuff. And this is a pretty simple game. I'd say, honestly, if I had any nits, I will have them later, because as a game with permanent upgrades, so you can permanently upgrade your health and your damage output, and it's noticeable. Like, my first run, I got absolutely stomped. Now I'm doing much better. And the mini bosses that I had to, you get a drop ship that comes in and it resupplies you. And I found that if you time it just right, it one-shots the mini bosses, because it does so much damage. So I was at a point where I was using it to one-shot them because they were too hard to kill. Well, now I can't even draw them to that drop ship before I kill them by accident, because I have so much more damage. Now, like I said, I could go play the harder missions, and that'll help, I'm sure, in endgame as I get stronger and stronger to make it still have a challenge. But at the end of the day, I'm like, dude, I might run out. I'm going to run out of content. With Balatro, I'm like, dude, I'm not going to beat all these decks for a year. When I started playing FTL, I was like, I won't win on all these ships for 2 years. This is like a lot of fucking content. But when I play Undermine, for example, I'm like, dude, Once you start getting those upgrades and you're like, oh, I bring all this gold home, and then you get upgrades that gives you more gold, and you bring that home, and you're like, well, shit, this game's going to be easy in a couple weeks or a couple days or a couple sessions. So that's where I'm at with this game. I'm like, I may actually I may run up against a wall, but it is very new. It's still, I don't know if it's early access. Is it early access?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, well then if that's the case,
And they just had like a big update, and it was update number 1. So like, yeah, they're doing stuff to this.
And it's $10. And at $10, this is buy at any price for sure. Because I know Vampire Survivors was at $3 or $5.
It was like $3.
I think it was $3. So this is a little bit steeper, but it has quality. So much more quality than Survivors did. Survivor was just like a single like sprite moving back and forth on a screen. It was so basic, but it was good. This has so much more art style to it. The sound design is obviously way, way better. It's good. And the other thing I didn't mention, those permanent upgrades. This is what a really cool thing. So like in Undermine, for example, it's just gold. You bring gold back from the Undermine, you buy upgrades with it. With this one, you mine different elements. So you might see on a run this element that's like a silvery ball, and you mine through a wall, and you're getting swarmed by all these bugs, and everything's trying to kill you, but you're taking your time to actually go mine this thing, and it does nothing for that particular run. But you take that home, and then you spend it to upgrade something. So that adds a really cool element, because otherwise you're just running like in Vampire Survivors. How often do you just find yourself running in circles? All I do is I run around and kill guys. In this game, it's like how Vampire Survivors added stuff later where you could go grab things, and then they had kind of objectives to go pick up this item. Same exact concept in this, but it's from the jump, and it's like go mine. So instead of just like I'm going to run around absentmindedly over this map, you are actually kind of exploring the map. And if you see a rare resource hidden in the wall, well, you may make a detour that may put you at risk of getting swarmed, because I want to go get that cool resource in the wall. I need to get that upgrade. I need to upgrade my health. I need that. I've been looking for that one. So there's so much more going on in this game than a typical survivor game. And that's what I really loved about it. It just seemed like it had perfected the formula of a survivor game. And for me, this is the new gold standard.
I like that they're adding just different things to it. Because like we had fun with Vampire Survivors, right? We like that game.
Absolutely.
We have fun with Brotato. Like that game.
Brotato's one I keep forgetting to mention. Yeah.
Right. And like, but yeah, then I'm okay with games improving on a previous game that I enjoyed, right? It takes nothing away from the previous game. It's just like, wow, these guys were smart about this, and they took this formula and made something great. And so, yeah, I mean, this has been on my wish list for a long time, but hearing this, like, I'm like, yeah, I could get into another Survivor. If I could ever get a video game, I thought this was going to be a slow year, but I can't get a video game break. I think I'm actively playing 5 games right now. So yeah, it's crazy.
I'm overwhelmed a bit.
I'm having a great year. I don't know.
Yeah, no, Deep Rock, Planet Crafter, Balatro. Like
I'm playing those. I'm playing Balatro, Planet Crafter, Diablo 4.
Oh yeah.
I'm playing Helldivers 2. What else was I playing? Anyway, it's just like so many things, and I'm in for it. I like it. I'm having.
So this is, like I said, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, $10, buy at any price. If you either way add it to your wish list, I'm sure this will go on sale quite a bit.
Dude, summer sales coming up soon. I guarantee this will be on there.
If they added a multiplayer or a co-op element to this, because the original Deep Rock Galactic is designed to be a 4-player cooperative game. If they add some element of co-op to this, holy shit, it would be amazing. I'd be so stoked. It could be really fun because you could, mine next to each other or help each other mine. There's just so much that you could do with it. So check it out, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. That means we've got to reroll and get another chance to hit number 19.
That's it. JD's pretty much just playing Dice of Destiny, so you can
Dice
play
of
a sex-
Sextony.
You can play a sex game. You can just
No.
Okay.
I have the
Okay.
dice have to choose it for me. All right, Peterson, what numbers you want?
JD's just rolling dice.
Just
He's like, I
getting
roll.
ready.
Okay, what do you?
All right, now pick. You pick. You guess what it was. What do you think it was?
I'm gonna be evens. 2, 4, 6.
It's a 4.
'Kay.
Thank God. Another game for you to play. All right. Do you want to roll? I assume you want to roll.
Let's go with. I'm gonna go with the clear one today. The clear looks like a
fancy.
19. I don't want a 19 actually.
Well, you better scratch it off that face. then.
13.
All right. 13 is
Lucky. Well, I don't. What? Why are you laughing?
because it's a dating sim. You get to
No,
play
it's not.
another dating sim.
Why do I always get dating sim?
I don't know. It's
Have you
maybe
even played one before?
I have. It was called Stardew Valley. I played it a million
That
years ago.
doesn't even count hardly.
So
Ugh.
dating sim is off the board. Hopefully, give Peterson a break. Now, buy a used retro game is back.
Oh no!
Last one I did was a Harry Potter game
And
from a
you
studio
loved it.
from a store that's no longer open.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Get them while they're hot, guys. Actually, we've
Yeah,
got a couple really
games.
great used game stores up by me, so that's not even a problem.
Oh, sad. Retro Game Wolf. Yeah, I don't think they're around, or maybe they are around. I don't know. All right, Peterson, roll your 6-sided dice. See how much money you can spend on your dating.
Sex dating sim. Oh gosh. I rolled a 1.
Dude, it says Retro Game Wolf, new location coming to Salt Lake City metro area in summer 2024. Shit. Yes.
JD, I
I'm
rolled
down.
a 1. I rolled a 1.
That's good.
So I'm in trouble.
You're gonna get a really
I'm in
terrible dating sim.
trouble. This is gonna be rough, guys. But I'm gonna. Oh gosh, I just clicked on dating. The dating tag in Steam, guys. This is gonna be rough. Okay.
You're gonna play a porn game regardless. You didn't get
Milf's
a choice.
Plaza.
Milf's Plaza.
Honestly, too expensive. I can't play that one even. So this is gonna. Good. Oh, this one's overwhelming and positive reviews. Fresh Women. It's definitely
French women or
fresh
fresh women?
like freshmen, fresh women.
Ooh, fuck.
And yeah, not great.
Fuck.
So this is gonna be tough. If any of our listeners have any suggestions, I am open to suggestions.
Oof, dude, a $10 dating sim. Good luck to you, Kirsten.
Challenge accepted.
All right.
I will do it.
Well, that does it for us this weekend. And as always, we've got a 90-minute episode. You're welcome.
Always.
It's just our circadian rhythm for podcasting. Okay, well, to play us out, we've got Run from Deep Rock Galactic.
Dude, this music's great too.
I'm JD, logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
Run.
So good.